What's going on, y'all? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. To everyone who has decided to subscribe, rate, comment, or view any of my other videos, thank you. And also to everyone who has shared my content on your social media platforms, I really appreciate you guys' love and support. It means so much, and it definitely goes a long way, so thank you. Quick story. About 2.5 months ago or so, I had kind of I guess you can say, an experience at a church that my good girlfriend goes to. And around that time, I had still been struggling, if you will, or, kind of going back and forth about how my sexuality works along with the way that I'm supposed to be a Christian at the same time. It kind of seems like it doesn't make sense. But it seems like it doesn't make sense because of what we've heard for so many years. All that I've heard in church is the same thing. We've always heard the same thing. And so when you kind of get into your relationship with God, when you kind of get to know him for yourself, when you have that personal relationship with him, when you begin to know his voice, when you begin to look forward to hearing from him on a daily basis, when you know his character, when you know the way that he speaks. See, we all know that God does not speak, at least when he speaks to us, he does not speak in book, chapter, and verse. He speaks to us kind of like I'm talking to you now, and it's always a whisper. It's never loud. It's never sounds like thunder like we are used to hearing it described in the Bible. We hear it in a whisper. So around that time, maybe in the months leading, not the months, really the weeks, leading up to that day that I was called up to the altar at my good girlfriend's church, I had been hearing the same thing from God early in the morning, because I still had some doubt. I still had doubt months ago. I still had doubt that I was okay the way that I was made. And you know what God kept saying to me? I'm your creator. I made you. I made you in my image. I'm your creator. I want you as you are. I want your heart just the way that I made you, in every way that I'm, in every way, not excluding any, in every way that I made you. I want you. And so when I went up to the altar and the pastor was standing right in front of me, he leaned in and he whispered in my ear. And what he said was, I care not what any man says. I want you. I want you. Just the way that I made you. I want you. So, message to my gay brothers. The next time someone comes up to you and says, oh, why do you have your wrists flailed? Why do you have your jeans so tight? You're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to do... Ask them one question. Who are you? My lesbian sisters, the next time someone says you're supposed to be dressed like a woman, you're not supposed to be wearing do-rags, or you shouldn't cut your hair like that, you shouldn't be wearing men's clothes, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't be attracted to the same. The next time man says that to you, my lesbian sister, ask them one question. Who are you? My bisexual brothers and sisters, the next time someone says, oh, you're greedy, or you can't make up your mind, or you're supposed to be one way or the other way, or if you... The next time someone has the nerve, who are you? My trans brothers and sisters, what a testimony and story that you have. When someone tells you that you were to be made one way, or you were to be made that way, or you were not supposed, you don't look like a man, or you don't, why are you trying to change? The next time man says that to you, you ask them, who are you? If we were to think about the logic that most people, most Christians rather use is God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Well, if we were to go by just one sexuality, then that means we've probably got to go by one race. We've probably got to go by one eye color. We've probably got to go by one hair texture. If we go back to the beginning of time and we have a picture of what Adam and Eve looks like, well, if you don't look like Adam and or Eve, you'd probably be in trouble, wouldn't you? But thankfully, we serve a God that is not so close-minded to make just one type of people. How many races of people do we have around this world? How many eye colors do we see across this nation and alone? And how many hair textures? How many cultures do we see? And to think that God just made one section, you're just supposed to be this way or that way. And then we hear the excuse, well, if you can't reproduce, then, it must not be natural. Well, Adam and Eve were told to reproduce because there was two people on this earth. Are we having a problem with reproduction right now? The next time someone tells you, a man tells you, a woman, the next time someone who's not God tells you who you're supposed to be, who you are, how you were made, did you fling those stars up into the sky? Did you position the sun in a way that it just sits? It sits in a perfect place so that we are heated just enough not to freeze to death and just enough not to burn to death. Did you put those spots on that cheetah so that when she hunts her prey and she's trying to get food for her cubs? Did you design the fingertips of every man on earth to be just right so that no other fingertip matches another? Who are you? There is a song that we used to sing at my old church, and it goes, whose report will you believe? And then the answer is, we shall believe the report of the Lord. So when all of your family tells you that you're supposed to be one way, when all of your church members say that you're supposed to do this, if every single man on this earth said you are to do this, you are to be this way, you are to be that way, are you going to believe that man, or will you believe your creator? Are you going to believe that woman, or will you believe your heavenly Father? Who are you going to believe? The funny thing about church is that there's one thing that remains constant. And, of course, God works in mysterious ways. We all know that. And many of us have experienced it. But sometimes God can be very obvious. And there's a specific stereotype when it comes to the music ministry. And have you ever thought that the reason why there are so many gay men in particular that are not only anointed but appointed, anointed to the point that is undeniable, the anointing on their entire life, not just their ability to play the piano, not just their ability to direct the choir. There's a specific way that you see that the character, the mannerisms, the everything. Is it possible that God said, that's the way I want it to be? God's holding up a mirror to his people, and he's saying, this is the way that I have called my people to be. And yet we reject it. Yet we reject it. Who made these standards about the way that men are supposed to be masculine and they should only be one way, and there's only one way that a man should be? Who made these standards that females are to all be feminine and they're supposed to be one way and that's the way that they're supposed to? Did God tell you that, or did you hear that from man? Whose report will you believe? Who's going to hold you when you're crying at night? Who's going to provide for you when you have no money? Who's going to deliver you out of your depression, out of the pits of despair? Who's going to do that? Is it going to be that preacher that is spewing out his opinion on the way that he thinks that things are supposed to be? No. I'm going to listen for the report of the Lord. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you guys for your love and your support. I encourage not only just my LGBT brothers and sisters, but anyone else that watches this video, when someone tells you that you're supposed to be a certain way, ask them one question. Who are you? If you have any suggestions on topics that you'd like for me to talk about or anything of that nature, my email is mojojojo.3020@gmail.com. My Twitter is @jlee07, and my Instagram is mojojojo underscore no, my Instagram is jojo_3020. Again, thanks so much for all of you guys' love and support. Have an awesome day and Merry Christmas!